Hello, my name is Sofia and this is the walkthrough to OSINT Exercise 028. On my website you can find a number of OSINT exercises to practice your skills. If you have not attempted to solve this one yet, you can find the link in the description and give it a go first. If you're here because you have completed, well done, you should be very proud. If you're here because you want to find out how to solve it, I hope you find this video useful. So welcome to OSINT Exercise 028. Task briefing. Sometimes the fastest way to geolocate an image is to track down the movements of the person behind the lens. I took the photo below on 20 September 2023 at 8:11 local time. Your task is to determine A. what device I used to take the photograph, B. where I was headed, and C. how far I was from the entrance of my destination. And there's a bonus challenge: in which hotel did I stay? I've marked this exercise level as for the beginners, the first and the third, possibly medium, and I think the second one is easy. For experts, I think they're all easy, but it really depends on your skills. And you can click here to open the image on a new window. Here we go. You'll hopefully immediately notice a few interesting things. First of all, the picture is quite big. Look at that, it's huge. Let's go back, indicating that perhaps it has not been resized prior to uploading to the website. Secondly, it appears to contain the original file name. Look at the top. Let me just copy paste this here. That is the file name. And this matches the information given in the briefing. The date at the start, 2023-09, which is September 20 at 8:11:57 seconds. When I see these details in a photo, I immediately get a bit excited because there's some good chance that the image comes with some juicy metadata. And that doesn't happen too often. When it does, it's really good. So first things first, what is metadata? When files are created, a small amount of information gets attached to them. Things like file format, size, creation date, device used, etc. This is the metadata. If you were, for example, take a photo with a device with GPS enabled, the metadata will also likely contain the coordinates of that location. However, user-driven platforms will by default strip that information when you upload the contents to their website. That means that if you were to take photos or record videos with a GPS-enabled device, upload them to social media, and then have someone download them, they won't be able to see the original metadata. Most of it will be removed the moment you upload your content to the website. But not every platform does this automatically. Smaller, independent websites like mine require the admin, which is me, I do everything here, to deal with that sort of thing. So if I upload a picture I took with my personal device, it will come with the metadata unless I specifically strip it. And I have been noticing for months that some people, especially those coming from a cybersecurity background, when trying to solve exercises containing photos, will often check for metadata as their first point of action. This rarely yields results on my exercises because I'm very careful. But I felt generous this time and I thought to myself, you know what, you want metadata? I'll give you some metadata. Not the coordinates though, let's not get too greedy, I'll make you work for those. Right, so now that we know what metadata is, let's find it. For the first task, we need to figure out which device I used to take this photograph. And as I've said earlier, this is the sort of information that can be found in the metadata. And there is very good reason to believe that I have not stripped the metadata from this particular image. So I'll show you 3 ways to access this photo's metadata. It's up to you which one you want to use. First, probably the easiest one, you download this image to your own device. You right click on it, save image as, and then you just save it to your computer or whatever you're using. Then we just need to right click on it. So here we go, right click on it, check properties, and here we go, voila. Your window may look different than mine because I'm on Linux, but just click around and you'll come across something similar to this. Look at all this juicy information. And just for you to be aware of what you usually get if you download a photo from social media, here's the metadata from a photo I got from Twitter that someone took themselves and shared on their account. Do you see the difference? The one from the exercise has a lot more details, such as the camera brand, model, date taken, exposure time, aperture, and so on. Even the software. It's definitely very juicy. On the other hand, the other one has most of the interesting data stripped by the platform. Boo-hoo. But as promised, let me show you 2 additional methods. So let's close this. You can access the metadata online on websites that do that as well. So you can search for something like a check metadata on Google, click the first one, it doesn't matter really, anything will do. view metadata, choose the file and upload the picture. Here we go, that one, select that one. And you'll just scan through it and give you the metadata. And here you go, it will display all available metadata, a bit similar to what we've seen before with a bit more information on this one actually, but it's pretty much there anyway, just a lot of details. The important bit is that it still mentions that it was Samsung, it has the model and so on. Now for the last method, this is just for the ones wanting to feel a bit like a hacker. The explanation is strictly for Linux because other operating systems are different, but it's still cool to see and I wanted to show you anyway. So let's go back again to the folder, close this, right click, open in terminal, and here we go. Let me just bring it to the middle here. So for this you'll need a package called exif tool. So I just have to write exif tool, here we go. And then I have to write the name of the file, which is easy enough. It's just 2023, tab to auto populate and done. So this gives me the entire metadata of the photograph, similar to what we've seen on the website. It's quite a big list. I'm just looking for information about the device, so I can just type here pipe grep model and it'll tell me exactly the model. Here we go. This is the model of the device. I can copy and we can search for it a bit like hacker style. No, it's very simple. Anyway, so you can just Google that and done. Brilliant. All results point towards this photo having been taken using a Samsung Galaxy A12 dual SIM, 64 GB, 4 GB RAM and blah blah blah, which is absolutely correct. That was the device I used to take the photo on 20 September 2023. This is no longer my phone, as I may have accidentally ran over it with my car. Complete accident, I swear. I wish I could explain what happened, but there's no version of the events that will make me look like a functional human being, so we'll just have to leave it at that. The device has since been demoted to one of my burner phones, so not all is lost. It's still useful. Thank you very much. Anyway, moving on. The second task, let's go back again. So the second task asks, where was I headed when I took this photo? I already gave a huge clue in the briefing, which doubled down as consent. You may go through my online content to find the answer to this question. I give you my full permission. Behave though. We don't need to geolocate the image yet. We just need to find out what I was up to on this date. And we already know the date, don't we? It was on the metadata and on the file name, and also I said so. We established that the photo had been taken on 20 September 2023, a bit after 8 a.m. local time. We also know that people with good OPSEC, like myself, will for the most part not disclose their current whereabouts. So it's likely that if I did mention online where and what I was doing on 20 September, it would have been a few days later when I was no longer in the area, you know, because of just in case. And where do people share information about what they're up to? Social media. And it's pretty easy to find all my social media accounts, well, the ones I wanted to know about, of course. If you click on the About Me section of my website, there is a link to them all here. Definitely not all of them. Here we go. We have YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Mastodon, Blue Sky, and even Discord. We're spoiled for choice, aren't we? So how do we choose which one to target? Because there's just so many. When I'm investigating, I tend to prefer the ones where people can write the most. Of course, more text, more information. From this list, LinkedIn would have been my top choice because the character limit is much higher than Twitter, Mastodon, or Blue Sky. However, the big downside to LinkedIn is that you need a sock puppet account to ensure your activity is not detected. You see on LinkedIn, you can see who has viewed your profile. This is something that users can change. Of course, you can select to not allow others to see when you view their profile in exchange to not being able to see when they come to yours, which is the setting I have because I like linking profiles and I don't give a shit about who sees mine. So you can look through mine all you want. I wouldn't know and I wouldn't care. So of course, if a user has a premium LinkedIn account, that is a very different scenario as they have the option to see everyone who views their profile regardless of whether you want it or not. And that is why sock puppets are useful. But I like to explain how to solve these exercises without the need to create any accounts anywhere. So I'm going to ignore LinkedIn. For now, we'll need to go back to it later though. This leaves us with 3 big social media accounts: Twitter, Mastodon, and Blue Sky. If you were to check them all, you'll see that I post the same content on all 3, so you can take your pick for this exercise. But we don't just want to see the content, we want to also filter the results. The 20 September 2023 was too long ago and some people are very active online, so you could be looking at hundreds or thousands of messages. No one has time for that. You could still do this in this case because I don't even post that much, as far as you know. But I don't like wasting time, so I'll explain how to filter the results anyway. In order to do that, we need to use operators. The problem, there's always a problem, is that neither Mastodon nor Blue Sky allow you to filter posts by specific user and within a specific time range. As of July 2024, that is, obviously things change. Twitter allows you to do that, but there's always a but as well. You need to have an account for that now, and I want to show you how you can still do that without having one because I like finding loopholes. So let's use Google. We are going to target my username and tell the search engine to just focus on it by writing here site column twitter.com/Kraljiks. I'm not writing x.com, it sounds stupid. So if you were to search for this, you would see all my indexed Twitter posts. So here we go, there's plenty of them. But we want to be more specific, of course, so we're going to filter the results so it only shows us posts between the 20th September 2023, so when the photo was taken, and maybe 27 September 2023, like a week, I don't know. Because remember when I said people with good OPSEC won't be posting their current location. So it's likely that I shared information about what I was up to, not on that date, but a few days later. So let's test our hypothesis. We click on Tools, Anytime, Custom Range, and now we're going to customize the date range. Here the format is month, day, year. So you're going to write 09/20/2023. And it goes to 09/27. Remember, we're giving it a week, 2023. Go, and there is one result. So let's click on it. Here we go. I'm logged out, so you don't see my sock puppet account on Twitter either. It was posted on the 24th September 2023, and what does it say? Thrilled to have been part of Europol's celebration of women in OSINT last week as a speaker at the blah blah blah, and it goes on. So this last week is very promising, isn't it? Maybe it was on the 20th, remember? There are 4 photos on this tweet, and if you click on the second one, you'll see when the event took place. Look at that, I left it there, 20 September 2023. Then the first photo shows me with a visitor card at Europol. The last photo shows how I was inside the building for the event, and I also got a very cool medal. So now we can answer the second question. Where was I headed? I was headed towards the Europol building to attend the Series CTF Finale, the Role of Women in OSINT Investigations event, in which I was a speaker. And just so you know, the timing, wording, and photos of this tweet were all carefully chosen with this exercise in mind almost a year ago. I enjoy planning things like this. There's more of those around, you know. Anyway, next task, let's go back to this. How far I was from the entrance of my destination. We already know that my destination was the Europol building, so let's first find out where that is located. And we can just search for Europol. Let's keep it simple, done. We can see there's a contact page here, so contact us, visitor's address, and it has an address. So let's click it. If you scroll a bit, it has the visitor address. You can just copy all of it, go to Google Maps, paste that, and here we go, the Europol building. So we know I went there on 20 September 2023. But where was I when I took this photo? Because remember, we need to calculate the distance between this point and the entrance of the Europol headquarters. So first things first, let's examine the image. We see a number 55 here. Look at that. It's on a gate which appears to be open. Let me zoom out again so you can see it's open. This seems to be a path or a driveway of some sort. Nearby we also see an individual mailbox, so this one here, which points towards this being a residential property or at least a single owner building. There's a dead tree trunk, here we go, between the gate and the mailbox, and behind it there's a hedge separating this pathway with the next one. On the other side of the hedge is a building with an interesting shape. If we zoom in a bit, we'll also notice another very, very interesting building. It appears to be very tall and has horizontal lines, but the interesting bit is the unusual angle on the roof. Let's look at it. It's a bit pointy, isn't it? Same on the other side, similar looking angles. We cannot see the rest of the building, but there's already enough information visible to infer that the roof will likely be shaped like a triangle. Let me show you what I mean. Let me just get some lines here. Let's start here. Go more or less this angle, isn't it? And done. This will be a triangle. And it will definitely stand out on satellite imagery, won't it? Okay, now we have plenty of information from this photo. Let's look at Google Maps again. And let's click satellite image, see it a bit better. And what do we see here? It's a triangle. Let me just click here, remove labels. Let me see it a bit better. Here we go. So much nicer. Look at this nice triangle shaped building just next to the Europol headquarters. I couldn't have made this any easier, people. So we know that I was heading towards the Europol. There were houses on my right and the triangular building was in the distance behind them. That puts me on this street, isn't it? Here we go. This street, walking towards the headquarters, residential buildings on my right with the building in the distance. So now we need to bring back the labels again because I'm going to show you something interesting. You bring up the labels and look at that. You can see the house numbers. And what house number are we looking for? 55. We can verify this by dropping our pegman here. So let's put him in front of the house and see if this is the house we're looking for. Remember this building? Of course you do. Let's go there. Look at that. We have the gate, we have the mailbox, we have that tree. We can even find out when tree was cut. So September 2020 it was cut. It's still alive. And here we go. We have our starting point to calculate how far I was from my destination. We know that this is the starting point in front of house number 55. Now we just need to figure out where is the entrance to the Europol building. If we go back to the contact us page of the Europol and scroll a bit more, we'll see that it's clearly stated the walking route and building entrance. Look at that. Walking route. Let me zoom this a bit. Say walking route and building entrance. How useful is that? So let me just put Google Maps and this picture side by side. And here we go. We know it is highly likely I was walking because I was just visiting and the photo was taken on the sidewalk. That means I would have taken the walking route as expected and as it shows on the contact page and entered the build here. So here on this section, this is our endpoint. So let's just do this, right? We're just going to right click here in front of house number 55, measure a distance, and off we go. I walked this way on the sidewalk, cut across this, went up the stairs. If you zoom in, you'll see that there's some stairs here. So again, this is the walking route that the Europol website is telling us. This is how people get there. And then I would have turned left here and entered the building. And there we go. This is the answer to the last task. It says here the total distance of this path is 172.76 meters or 566.81 feet. And we're done with the 3 tasks. So now let me put this big again for the bonus challenge. In which hotel did I stay? You may remember that at the start I mentioned that when looking for information that people share online, it's best to target platforms that don't limit as much the number of characters. And like I said, LinkedIn would have been my top choice here. So let's check out what I wrote on LinkedIn. I'm going to be using my Sock Puppet account, so some bits have to be censored because I already got an account suspended once and they're such a hassle to create. And I don't want to lose this one as well. So on my profile, if you scroll, you'll see the medal photo again. We've seen this one. It was on Twitter as well. In fact, if you go to Twitter again and do an image reverse search on this photo, so just reverse image search, just Google, that's it. It will also be directed to my LinkedIn post. You can see the result here is exactly the same photo. There's a few matches. If you click, and if you click the first one, which was posted on 24th September 2023, like it has been on Twitter, you click on that one, it will show you someone that reposted that post from LinkedIn. And here you go. This is my LinkedIn post. And you'll notice as well that it's a bit lengthier than the text on Twitter, isn't it? And what do we see here? Let me zoom in a bit. The photo was taken from my hotel balcony. It's almost like I wrote this sentence on purpose, which I did. You may also notice that I invited people to geolocate this photo. So here is where you have 2 paths to solve this bonus challenge. You have the easy one and you have the hard one. You can simply see if someone else already geolocated the photo and find the correct answer, or you can try to do it yourself. As much as I like a good challenge, I never geolocate something someone already geolocated. Why would I? Waste of time. Good for them. And if that information is public, I'm definitely using it. I don't take credit for other people's coordinates though. There's a certain code of conduct in geolocations, but I'm still going to use it if needed. So let's check out if anyone solved it. Let's scroll a bit and see. Look at the top comment. It says, we'll take a look at the challenge, looks like a tough one. There's 5 replies, and the last one I said brilliant, absolutely correct. That was the confirmation that that person was right. If you still want to give it a go solving this the hard way, feel free to do it, but you probably have to stop here because I'm going to give you the answer. We'll just load the replies here, load previous replies. You can also see that I give a warning that someone else already gave the correct answer, so there was more than one person who got this right. But if you scroll, look at that, they gave a picture and it's absolutely correct. You can see the buildings in the distance, they do match. There's the same building, this is the same area. And there's a second picture showing the hotel I was, and this was the hotel, which is this one, the second one here. So this was brilliantly solved by Fridon. And that is how you could have solved the bonus challenge. Work smart when you can, hard when you must. Have a great week.